welcome to the edition of our show, Money Means Business. As we always say, business means money, stability in business, and a lot more. A lot of money and, of course, business. We're here discussing very important issues with the medical city, medicine city, and also, well, a lot of medicine and the projects, the important projects that we're going to be talking about that are taking priority with the other projects, of course, but the priority in very significant projects. Also, what we're going to be starting with is what happened today with President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi saying on Saturday today that unplanned population growth hinders the state's development strategy and that the expansion in the construction of unsafe housing has been destroying the country since the year 2011. The head of state said that the current situation in the Egyptian state needs exerting all efforts of transferring the country into a state of bright future. Al-Sisi stated that the project carried out by the Ministry of Housing does not aim to compete with the private sector, but rather an attempt to create a balance between what is required at the state level and what is being proposed. And we've got with us online Dr. Sharifa Gohary, specialist in development of informal settlements. Hello, sir.
Yes, hello.
Good evening, Dr. Gohary.
Well, good evening.
Good evening, sir. With talking about informal settlements and, of course, building, expanding and building safe buildings for the population, could you elaborate on that?
Yes. In fact, the Egyptian government, when President Sisi started his time, in fact, focusing to develop all the informal settlements, and he put it as a priority for the government. And in fact, with this priority, President Sisi already gave a lot of resources to the government, starting from the money, of course, the land, the governmental land, to build all these housing for the informal settlements. And of course, the government applied the national plan to finish these informal settlements, and hopefully by the end of this year, they will finish all the informal settlements in Egypt.
Yes. The president also said that the state bears a huge cost to provide alternative housing to Egyptians, noting that the subsidy over 10 years cost the state up to 3 trillion Egyptian pounds, or around 275 billion pounds annually. And that, you know, doing that, also building that, those projects are not a competition with the private sector.
Yes.
Hello? Yes, sir.
Yes. In fact, like he mentioned in his speech today, the government not competing, in fact, with the private sector, but because, in fact, the housing needs for Egypt is almost per year, it's almost 500,000 units. And of course, it's the government give already or built about 225,000. That means already the private sector already covered the other part, which is about 275,000 units. And in fact, also the government focusing on the social housing. And this is very important because, in fact, Egypt suffers, or the Egyptians suffers for a long time to have this social housing, of course, to attract or to cover about the increase in population. Of course, it's focused for youth people and social people. And in the same time, this amount of housing already covered the informal settlements development project.
Dr. Sharifa Gohary, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And we've got a lot to talk about, especially about the coming projects, the Nile Health Project, which is one of the most important projects. And of course, the increase in population, as we were talking about, and what it does in all that in terms of development. And we've got with us tonight our guest, Dr. Alaaeddin Assel, medical industry expert fellow of the American College of Cardiology. Welcome, sir, with us.
Welcome.
Always a pleasure having you, and we've got a lot to talk about.
Yes,
Well, we're
indeed,
talking about
indeed,
then
Naveen.
President Sisi, and of course, like our guest, Dr. Gori, commenting on the overpopulation growth, which is sucking any kind of development, any kind of increase in the economy. It's just sucked by the increase of the overpopulation. How do you see that?
Well, actually, you raised a very important topic, which is the overpopulation. How can we
Meet the
this-
challenge. It's a challenge.
It's a challenge actually, and this has been going on for so many years.
Yeah.
And raising this issue, let us have a quick look
Yeah.
on what's happening in the whole world, what is happening on planet Earth.
Yeah.
Now, let us see how Egypt is situated among other countries and what is happening. In the international worldwide percentage of population, we have an annual increase of average on the population of the world is 1%, while the current statistics for Egypt is 2.5%.
Yeah.
And this is 2.5 more times than the average. Let's have a look on the distribution on the population and this problem all over the world. We will find that most of the underdeveloped countries are having the most population increase.
Growth, yeah.
If we go quickly and see what's the highest, to your astonishment and to our astonishment, you will find that the maximum population rate increase is happening in two countries. It's Niger, actually, in Africa, and to your surprise and to my surprise, it's Syria. And they're having an average of 5%, which is a huge number. Now, and this is happening in most of the countries, I would say in Africa, and we are situated in the middle. Let's have a look on the well-developed countries. How do they, what about their increase?
Deal with that, yeah.
Now, for Germany, the record for last year was 0.3%. If we go, for example, to France, it's 0.6%. Denmark, we're 0.7%. We are 2.5%. Now, this is, as you just mentioned in the previous paragraph, it's eating our resources.
Of course.
Now, when this subsidy started back in 1952 and 54, when they started this program regarding social insurance and subsidizing things for food supplies and health, free for everyone. We were 30 million at that time. The population of Egypt were about 30 millions. Now we are talking about more than 100 millions. And this is eating our profits. They are eating our income. We are subsidizing products for about £500 million annually. And this is hindering us from doing other developments. And I think the government is having a plan to minimize this subsidy.
Explosion, actually, definitely, the subsidy, which might be affecting, if the mentality is to have to have lots of kids, then subsidy, if it's limited, it will force, I think, those who don't care about
having more people.
Exactly.
Having more kids. Yes, and there will be a plan. Maybe we will have another episode regarding the population. How can we plan for it and how can we stop that? We need to start. If we keep on maintaining the same program that food is free for everyone or subsidized for everyone and health is provided for everyone, I don't think we can cope on the long run.
Definitely.
Now, the current administration is really looking forward for a new republic. And we have started in the new republic in having a lot of other issues that has never been there.
Definitely.
And I think in our new republic, we need to make arrangements that this explosion has to stop.
Definitely.
And maybe it's not the time to talk about the population growth and the population explosion that we are having in Egypt. Maybe we have to set a separate episode regarding this, because actually it's a lengthy issue.
Exactly.
But my personal input in that is we have, or the government or the state has to take active steps towards preventing this explosion. For the past decade or the past decades, we have been trying by educating people, trying into the media, trying to explain the situation, trying to explain the problem, but it's obviously we are still at 2.5% population increase. There must be other measures
to quell that,
the
increase, which is sometimes it has some roots in their minds that doing this, it's stopping or limiting the number is against religion. They just but they got this through the ages, some ideas, erroneous ideas, which is when you just, tell them to educate their kids well and live well by limiting the number of kids they should have, they just go against you.
No, well, actually, we are not limiting kids, but in one of the future programs, there will be a program to limit the free gifts. There is nothing for free anymore, or for a certain number of children.
So you would have to just, in order to make ends meet, you'd have to limit, yourself.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody is rich and he would like to have so many children, it's up to him.
Since he can pay.
But then he has to borne the extra expenses for education and for health and for food.
Of course.
I mean, the government, I don't think it's fair, and this, again, it reflects my personal opinion. I don't think it's fair for somebody who has got 6 children or 7 children to have the 6 or the 7 or all children or 8 or 9. You have numbers like this in the countryside and back in the southern part. And it's not fair to have a free education for 7 kids or 8 kids or whatever.
Well, we pay for our kids, definitely.
And I would say everybody is eligible to have free education and free health for maybe, if this is just a hypothetical number, for two children, for example, and then if he's rich enough, then
he
pays, of course, for the other children. And this applies for the new generations. If somebody is already has got 4 or 5 kids, they maintain this. But as I said, we are looking for the future. We are looking for a fruitful new republic, and there must be a beginning.
Definitely.
I mean, we have to start into this.
Definitely, and we have a report on that. So back to you, Kamal Ali, our director, in order to give us the report.
Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli held a meeting to follow up on the implementation of the President's assignments to expand the localization of the pharmaceutical industry in Egypt in the presence of Dr. Khaled Abdel Ghaffar, Minister of Higher Education and Scientific Research, Dr. Hala Zaid, Minister of Health and Population, and a group of ministers. Dr. Muhammad Awad Tajuddin, the advisor to the President of the Republic for Health and Preventive Affairs. At the beginning of the meeting, the Premier indicated that the government is working to expand the localization of the pharmaceutical industry in Egypt, which is one of the most vital sectors for the Egyptian economy. Madbouli added that the head of state was assigned to expedite the formulation of an executive plan aimed at expanding the localization of this vital sector. The Premier said, "I value the pivotal role played by the Egyptian pharmaceutical companies in providing various needs of medicines through local manufacturing, but we have a broader ambition, particularly with regard to the medicines for some diseases that are not available in Egypt, such as oncology or immunology and others." For his part, Dr. Muhammad Awad Tajuddin, the advisor to the President for Health and Preventive Affairs, indicated that work is being done very seriously in the file of localizing the pharmaceutical industry in Egypt. He saluted all the pharmaceutical companies operating in the country, which were able to localize the manufacture of many medicines in the market. Dr. Tajuddin also explained the experiences of some countries in the pharmaceutical industry, including manufacturing for local consumption as well as exporting to foreign markets, referring at the same time to the current expected returns of the pharmaceutical industry, which necessitate that the governments around the world make all possible efforts to develop this sector, particularly with regard to the rehabilitation of infrastructure and the amendment of the necessary legislation. In turn, the Minister of Higher Education affirmed the complete readiness to cooperate with the committee that will prepare the strategy for the localization of this industry in Egypt. The Egyptian university professors are also fully prepared to provide their expertise in this file. For her part, the Minister of Health noted the desire to establish partnerships to manufacture raw materials in Egypt, and in this context, the Minister presented a number of types of medicines that are in high demand in the Egyptian market, noting that there are some individual attempts by Egyptian pharmaceutical companies to establish partnerships with major entities, global manufacturing of raw materials. Councillor Mohammed Abdul Wahab, the CEO of the General Authority for Investment and Free Zones, stressed the need to define the targets we need from the required drugs so that negotiations with major international companies specialized in an effort to attract more investments in this field can begin. While Major General Baha Zidan put forward a number of visions and ideas regarding the localization of the serum and vaccine industries as well as medical supplies and the needs of laboratories. Dr. Tamer Assam, the head of the Egyptian Medicines Authority, explained that an integrated study was presented in this regard, explaining that the study also includes efforts made with private sector companies to expand their investments and localize the drug industry in Egypt. In a related context, Dr. Meg George, the chairperson of the Export Council for Medical Services, explained that Egypt has about 150 pharmaceutical factories and has a business volume of £84 billion last year, and there are 18 multinational companies that have factories in Egypt. By the end of the meeting, the Prime Minister demanded the speedy completion of the report of the committee formed with the aim of expanding the localization of the pharmaceutical industry in Egypt, and that it includes executive steps that the government will start activating immediately in cooperation with the private sector.
We're back again to My Name is Business with Dr. Alaeddin Assel, medical industry expert. And sir, we were talking about the overpopulation that is sucking any kind of development, but then we, of course, throughout this last 7 years, we had priorities to do, and everything was done simultaneously. Well, we had to just take care of a lot of things, and then now, we do have other projects also that we have to take care of, big projects like the Nile Health, which is a mega project in our new republic.
Yes, sure. Well, let me explain how it works first. Yeah. As I said, we at the new republic we have done a lot of phases, and there were phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, and in the beginning we had the state had to do a lot of reconstruction. For example, we started with the army, and then We go to phase 2 into infrastructure, and then again into construction for housing, and phase 4, which is where we are there, of course, in conjunction with all the previous 3.
Yeah.
When we go from a phase to phase, it does not mean that phase 1 has ended. I mean, it's an addition to the previous phase.
Yes.
So when we are at phase 4, which is now supporting industry. Now after phase 1 and phase 2 and phase 3 has been, I wouldn't say completed, but they have started and they showed up and they yielded results. Now we started to give attention, or the New Republic started to give attention to industry.
Yeah.
We are now, I would say, in phase 4. We talked previously about giant projects that has been inaugurated in Egypt. If we talk about major projects, we talked before about Egyptopharma.
Yes.
Which is, they call it the medicine city, I call it the pharma city, producing a lot of, and at good phases as well. The main aim of industry is to minimize the importation and the spending of foreign currency, and in the same time yielding profit to investors, stakeholders, and strategic partners, and of course into the country, creating jobs, just like when we talked in a special episode about Egyptopharma and the medicine city. Now we started to go into another sector, which is silo farm. We talk about, we started to do giant projects as well in the food industry, again, to minimize the importation and to minimize the expenditure of the foreign currency, which makes a balance to the Egyptian pound, and that will definitely support the Egyptian pound versus the foreign currencies.
Yeah.
Now, what I have started with the project Nile Health, which is the main issue of this episode, is Nile Health is a name I gave on a temporary on that project. I wanted to highlight the medical industries in Egypt and what is happening in that sector in the previous republic and in the new republic.
Yes.
Now, the total market for the medical products in Egypt varies between 25 and 30 billion Egyptian pounds annually. Of course, it comprises 3 different sectors. The medical consumables. Medical consumables has got, of course, the low-end products and the high-end products. Let me try to simplify it to normal citizen.
Exactly.
I mean, let's try to make it simple. There are simple products, just like, for example, starting from simple bandages to simple catheters to urine bags and things. Giving sets, the one you see on the pole and things like this. These are locally manufactured, and again, we still import a large portion out of it. The high-end products, let us go into catheters and things that goes into the bloodstream. This, we call it a high-end or a high-profile medical single-use product. And then again, phase 3 or sector 3 is medical equipment. These comprises in Egypt is about 20 to 25 billion Egyptian pounds annually. If we classify this into different parts, and we talk, for example, like the consumables, like the syringes and things like this, we still import the medical plastic. We do not manufacture the medical plastic. We still have to import it, most probably from India or from China or Hong Kong, and then we spend again a lot of money on buying these primary products.
Well, let me just ask you a question,
Yes.
but what is making us, why are we lagging on producing such things? Why are we importing them when it seems we can produce them?
Well, there must be a lot of criteria. Number one, if we would like project Nile Health to go into light, we again, and this is also another reach out, and this is reach out, I need to put that project into the hands of our President Al-Sisi, since he's actually encouraging all the infrastructure and the industry into the new republic.
Yeah.
Now, of course, this will be done in collaboration with stakeholders, with investors and strategic partners, just like what we did or what the state has done in the Egypto Pharma and in Silo Farm. Now let's do it into the medical industry as well.
Yeah.
This is a very strategic product.
Yeah.
We are, for example, manufacturing syringes in Egypt. But to your surprise, we do the syringes, we import the plastic from outside, and then again, we don't do the needle.
Okay.
We still have to buy the needle from outside due to high technology and expensive equipment that nobody is really willing to invest alone. So Project Nile Health, and why it is called Nile Health, I gave this temporary name to this because the Nile is the stream of life.
Definitely.
And I would like to use the word Nile because it's a stream of life and its entry to Africa. Egypt is situated remarkably in the heart, as a very good entry. It's actually, I call it a gateway to Africa.
Yeah.
Now, we need to give, as a country, we need to give more attention to Africa. We have been giving them proper attention in the past few years, but for so many years, Africa was not really our prime interest. Let's have, again, let us see and let us take lessons. Now, in the World War II, Europe was almost distracted. Germany was starving, and these are 65, 70 years ago, 75 years ago. Now, Germany has, at that time, had no army after the war, but now Germany is dominating Europe.
Yeah.
They are dominating Europe economically, and they are dominating Europe with their industry. Why Egypt doesn't take a leading role in Africa? We can use the medical products coming into Africa. They're still importing their products from China and from India. Why don't we provide these products locally?
Are we closer?
Again, we have a very successful example, which is Egypto Pharma or Medicine City.
Yeah.
I strongly recommend that we do the same for medical industry. We can support even the local industries that are happening in Africa. For example, like South Africa, which is in a way one of the best countries in Africa producing medications and producing medical products. Not as much as we are. We are, I would say, in a superior position. So let us keep this superior position. Let us try to get the attention of President Sisi into Nile Health Project. And again, this is a temporary name. And let us have our raw material that we can transfer it into a medical plastic, and we make sure that it is in a proper accordance with the international regulations. And let us manufacture most of the products in Egypt. Let us export to Africa. It's just like a full comprehensive solution. We have the manpower.
Yeah.
We are having an overpopulation.
Yes.
But we have them.
We can use that, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. We have the manpower. We have the resources. We have a powerful and a strong leadership. Why don't we use this? And let us start to be more active. Let us be the gateway to Africa. Let us have our own self-sufficiency. Let us save these billions that we are buying products from overseas. And then again, I would say we will have strategic partners.
Yeah.
And I would use this program also to enhance investment. We are talking about program Money Means Business.
Yes.
So we have a lot of opportunities here in Egypt.
It should engender money also. It's a good investment.
It is. I would say to our strategic partners and into our investors all over the world is come to the land of opportunities, come to the land of pharaohs. We are we are the gateway to Africa. It's not only Egypt. Egypt is, we are having 100 million in-house Egyptians.
Definitely.
And we have another 250, almost 250 millions are living in Africa. We can support them on the medical part. Medical products, equipment, high-tech technology is required for all these countries. 350 million people are in need of that. Why do we have to import it? We have the capability, we have the space. I mean, we have the space in Egypt. We can make that if of course the political leadership finds it feasible for us to go ahead with this project. It will give us a hand to go into Africa through the Nile.
Definitely.
So that's why it is Nile Health.
Definitely. Well, we'll go for a short break. After, should be coming back. Station to us. Don't go away. We're coming back in a moment. We're back again to My News Business with Dr. Alaidina Assel, and we're talking about phase 3 now of the project now.
Okay, fine. Phase 3 is, we have jumped from phase 1 to phase 2 and phase 3. Phase 3 would be medical equipment. Medical equipment is a broadband, is a large variety of medical equipment.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of medical equipments that are being imported from Europe, for example, with an EC certificate and coming as if it was manufactured in Europe. I have been in this business for long enough, and I have been working with international manufacturers.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you that most of these products are not being manufactured 100% in the country of origin that we get the certificate from.
Okay.
Actually, they're buying the screens from a certain place in the Far East, and they're assembling it into the European country, for example, and we, in Egypt,
Get it finished?
get it from as if it was manufactured and actually with a certificate
By European
of
country.
origin
Yeah.
by a European country. I wouldn't name them,
Yeah,
but
definitely.
they are there. But not a single thing has
Yeah.
been manufactured. At a certain period of time, I was working for one of these companies, by the way. So I know how it works, and I was in the kitchen,
Yeah.
as you said.
Yeah.
So again, there are a lot of medical equipment, easy medical equipment. I wouldn't say sophisticated medical equipment like, for example, the imaging part of it or things like this. This could be done on a franchise basis. Those manufacturers mainly are now being manufactured in the Far East. They would love, they would call it OEM, other equipment manufacturers, is they make a sort of consortium or an agreement for somebody to manufacture for them in collaboration with their technology. So they would save the transportation and the customs and things like this. So again, we can use that to supply Africa. With this OEM program, we can supply Africa, but I wouldn't say for the heavy, I would say the very sophisticated equipment, but there are a lot of equipment just like the monitors, the vital signs monitors, the ventilators and things like this. I do not want to make it very hard for the viewers, for our viewers. I'll try to simplify it for them, for the non-medical, but then again, we can do that on phase 3. But let us hope that phase 1 and phase 2 would get accepted first. That's much easier to perform. Phase 3 would be needing a lot of extra investments. But then again, this would be yielding money. And
this is a good project that everybody is a winner in there.
Yes, it's a win-win situation actually. The state is definitely the major winner because we would be owning the property, we would be owning the plant, and again, this is a sort of security. We are not dependent on any other party to provide us with the raw material that is vital for our industry here. For a reason or another, if the supplier decided not to supply us with this raw material, as I said, for example,
and we have
the
them
medical,
here.
the medical plastic
Yeah.
is being imported from outside. What about if suppliers decided to cut us off for a reason or another? Then we are talking about 40 or 50 manufacturers in Egypt here will stop completely.
Yeah.
Or maybe they have to pay double the price, otherwise they would stop completely from production. I would like to do that here.
Yeah.
And there is a very old, unfortunately, British saying. It's called, if there is a will, there is a way.
There's a way, definitely.
I have the will,
Yeah.
and definitely I'll find a way.
Definitely.
So
And there will be, of course, you know, like if we said the partners that can be really they're winners, then there are investors who are going to be in because, and as you said, at the end, this is, you know, a national thing because if there is an outage in anything for any reason, that we have it here, it's going to be manufactured here, so we're not really going to be lost, you know, going here and there asking for, trying to find something that that the market is lacking and there is big need for it.
Sure. Yeah, you've got a point, and I totally agree with you. But then again, it's very important if we talk from the financial point of view, is we have the opportunity. The main thing is finding a customer.
Definitely.
We have the customer ready.
Definitely.
And we have the technology.
Yeah.
We have the know-how.
Yeah.
So I think it's feasible. And at the end of the program, this is an initiative. I hope that we reach it out, and I hope it would be adopted by President El-Sisi. He is a leader. He's our leader, and I hope that someone would report this program to him. And I'm sure if he's convinced, then we can start adopting the project Nile Health.
Yeah, that will be a big success.
Yeah,
hopefully.
I'm sure.
Well, at the end of the program, we'd like to thank you very much for being with us. Always a pleasure having you.
It's a pleasure being here. Thank you, Maureen.
Thank you. And as we always end, God bless our Egypt, God bless Egyptians, God bless our army, our white army, our police, our president. And as we end, and we quote from the Holy Quran, Idkhulu Misr, inshallah, aminin, enter Egypt, God willing, safe. And from the Holy Bible, Mubarak, Shabi Misr, blessed be Egypt, my people. I'm Nermin Nazim signing off. See you again next week. Goodbye for now. Thank you.